Hello again, Gills fans, and welcome back to Gills in the Blood TV for our latest episode as I take a look back at our 1-0 defeat to Rotherham in the week and look ahead to this Saturday's fixture as we host Blackpool. But first, going to have a look through the paper, obviously all the reaction to Tuesday's defeat, and the headline coming up on your screen now is a quote from our manager Steve Lovell. As you can see there, Steve Lovell not happy with the fan criticism of his performance, his team's performance in the week, but more so the fact that he thinks people are levelling things against him that are unjust and his players that they're not working hard enough in terms of training, etc. I don't mind them criticising the performance on the night, which I'm criticising myself, he said. But what we do in the week and leading up to a game is something we work very hard at to try and get the best out on a game day. I think he's alluding to some fans who decided to have a pop after full time on Tuesday in the ground. Performance wasn't good, he knows that, we know that, the players know that, but I think he's got a point if people are digging out his methods or whatever, and the fact that people are supposedly not training hard enough, because for me that's one thing you can't level at this squad under Steve Lovell especially. They've run through brick walls to get us into this position where we are, and granted the last few weeks have been shocking. There's no way we can dress it up or sugarcoat it as anything other than a very poor run of form, but maybe there's just a chance if we take a step back and look at it with a bit of perspective that all that effort to get us from effective relegation when he took over in October to relative safety with probably half a dozen games to go in my eyes, because I thought we were safe after the Portsmouth defeat, is testament to how hard they have worked and how well they have played with a limited size squad, limited quality. Let's not pretend that. They've worked wonders. The headline on the back of the paper, you haven't a clue. That's how strongly Steve Lovell feels about it. Lovell hits back as fans doubt effort. Just a little bit more on it. He says that it says the Gills boss spoke to a couple of supporters at full time following stick from the stands in Tuesday night's defeat by Rotherham. He has no problem with criticism of performances, but doesn't like players' work rate being questioned, and feels Gills made a rod for their own back by flirting with the League One playoffs. Lovell said, "I know perhaps some supporters don't think we do anything during the week, but we work hard. We've come a long way since we've been here and taken over in October, and it's funny how expectations rise for people. Perhaps us doing so well in January and February was not the right thing to do. Perhaps we should have left it till the last 2 or 3 games and then sneak out of relegation." I can see his point. It must be frustrating because he's right. He sees this squad of players, this group of players every single day of the week in training. We don't. We only see them on a Saturday or a Tuesday or the odd visit to the training ground if that's your choice. But he sees them, he knows them inside out. So can understand his point. Fans are staying away, that's another thing. Poor performance on Tuesday, I've already said it was. And yes, players have to give fans something to cheer about. But you can't just turn up when we're playing well and winning. That's for me, is not being a supporter. Thick and thin. And at this level, generally, there's more thin than thick, let's be honest. But yeah, can understand Steve Lovell's frustration, can understand the fans' frustration. But for me, I think Steve Lovell's right to come out and defend himself and defend his methods and defend his squad. But yeah, just quickly going over the game itself, as I've already said, it wasn't good. It was very flat, it was uninspiring. I thought there were too many players that looked to be passing the buck on Tuesday night, passing responsibility and waiting for someone else to do things. And I'll be honest, I thought the tactics were slightly questionable second half, and that's the first time I've questioned Steve Lovell since he's taken over. That's how good he's been, how impressive he's been. I thought we looked lopsided second half. I thought we only seemed to have width from one side throughout the game. Callum Riley, I'm not sure whether he was meant to be playing as an orthodox left-sided midfielder first period, kept tucking in. Scott Wagstaff was hugging the touchline the other side, and it all just looked a bit unbalanced. But obviously Steve Lovell's done a great job. I'm not going to sit here and criticise him for the sake of it. It's always constructive. We try and, we don't just slag people off for the sake of it on the channel. But yeah, it wasn't the best. But Steve Lovell knows that. He's not come out and said the performance was good or anything like that. I'm not doing Luke Cordell's last paragraph today. I'm actually going to take one from the middle of the report that sums up the game pretty well. And it says, "But Gills quickly ran out of ideas, particularly after going behind, and it descended into a hit and hope fest." Again, that was frustrating because generally under Lovell we've tried to get the ball down and play, and we've played some good stuff, and we did it a little bit on Tuesday, but by no means did we do it enough. And we very quickly resorted to hit the big man up front, Tom Eaves come on shortly after half time and it was trying to hit the two big men up front. It didn't work. Rotherham, to their credit, remained compact, remained disciplined, and they got the job done. They did us over. So, but I think what we have to remember, bottom line, is this manager and his coaching staff and this squad that looked dead and buried under Adi Pennock have been absolutely brilliant for 5 months up until this recent run of poor form. So I'm going to give them a bit of slack. If you don't want to, that's up to you. The form isn't good, but I think maybe we've just, and it's not an excuse, but I think maybe we've hit a wall in terms of fatigue and tiredness, and maybe we've been found out a little bit, I'm not sure. But yeah, on the whole, I think Steve Lovell's done a brilliant job. We were certainties to go down when he took over, and I still think we'll stay up. He keeps talking about maybe one more point, but I do think we've got enough, even though the gap's got a little bit smaller again. But yeah, the one thing I will say though, Steve Lovell says he thought Rotherham were hungrier than us, which is a little bit disappointing because we've been really good in terms of getting on the front foot in games and getting stuff done early doors and putting ourselves in good positions to see out games. And then generally, up until the last month or so, again, we've managed games really well. If you look at like Rotherham away, Bristol Rovers at home, Fleetwood away, Charlton away, Scunthorpe away, Northampton away, even Portsmouth second half, we reacted well to going 1-0 down and we come out the blocks really quick second half and got the job done. We've got ourselves where we've scored an early goal and then we've been able to manage the game defensively, etc. And we've done it really well. We just haven't quite been at it the last few weeks, and we certainly weren't at it on Tuesday, which was the biggest frustration for me. But looking forward to Saturday again, and hopefully if we can pick up 3 points, then obviously we'll be 100% safe. But yeah, that's enough about Tuesday and enough about Steve Lovell's gripes. Let's have a look now ahead to Saturday's fixture as we host Blackpool. As us Gills fans are only too aware, we've been in a shocking run of form since winning at Portsmouth back in March. Last 6 has rewarded us with only 3 draws and 3 defeats, so it's only 3 points from the last 18 available, which is relegation form. I said that the other day on another video. At home, it's not a great deal better. It's 4 draws and 2 defeats, so it's only 4 points from 18 available at the Priestfield. Blackpool picked up recently, been really good the last 3. They've won 3 on the bounce. Before that, they'd drawn 1 and lost 2. So they've taken 10 points from the last 18 available, and their away form not quite so good. They've not won in 3 on the road. Their record stands most recent game first, lost, drawn, lost, 1-1 drawn. So they'd picked up 7 points from 9, but from the last 9 they've only taken 1 point. But they've won their last 3 at home, so they're going to arrive with confidence, scoring 10 goals. And they picked up a very late win in their local derby with Fleetwood last week, scoring twice in the last 3 minutes, I think it was. So they're going to come in with a spring in their step. Ironically though, their last away win in the league came against Portsmouth on the 24th of February, and our last win of any description in the league came against Portsmouth on the 10th of March. Still think it'll be a close game. If we turn up and are at our best, I think we've got a great chance. If we turn up and play as we have done for the last few weeks, then I think we could be in a bit of bother. In terms of Blackpool and players that may cause us a threat, Kyle Vassell's got 10 goals in 28 league games for them this season, which isn't a bad record at all. It's 1 in 3 just about, which is pretty decent. You do that over a 46 game season, you're scoring 15 league goals, so you can't complain about that too much. Jay Spearing, bags and bags of experience. I think he's their captain. Played over 30 times this season. Ex-Liverpool, ex-Bolton, played at a higher level. And Scott Longstaff, who came from, I think, Kilmarnock at the beginning of the season. He's got 9 in 42 from midfield, so he's had a decent enough debut campaign in England. But yeah, again, similar to Rotherham, I don't think there's names that jump off the page at you, but they've got plenty of decent, honest pros that are similar to us, that'll go and do a job and hopefully run through brick walls for you if you're a Blackpool fan. Let's hope they're slightly off it on Saturday, of course, and that we can pick up a vital win. And then we can relax and rest easy for the last 2 games. In terms of team news for us, obviously still no Billy Bingham, no Aaron Morris. Gabriel Zakuani should be fit, Steve Lovell has said, after a bang on the head in the week. Lee Martin is obviously back from suspension. I'm not sure, there must still be doubts, but there's been no press conference today, Thursday, so I'm not sure. But so there's question marks over Frank Musa, Reece Murphy and Bradley Garmston, who've all missed the last game or 2. But fingers crossed we can get at least 1 or 2 of them back and fit for the bench at least. Team lineup. Steve Lovell was alluded to. He said that there's going to be changes, but then he did that before a couple of months ago, I think, and then kept the same 11. So it might be a little bit of mind games. If it was me, I'd make a couple of tweaks, not massive changes. My team would be Thomas Holy in goal. I would play Callum Riley at left back. I know he wasn't great there Tuesday, but I think at Portsmouth he was very, very good. I think maybe Tuesday he just caught up in the general malaise of our performance on the whole. So I'd go Callum Riley at left back, Gabriel Zakuani and Max Amar centre backs if Gabby is definitely fit. Luke O'Neill will stay at right back. I would then play 2 midfielders in front, which would be Mark Byrne and Jake Hessenthaler. I would have 3 in front of them, Josh Parker from the left, Lee Martin in behind and Scott Wagstaff on the right, and I would have Thomas Eves as the central striker. My bench would be Thomas Hadler, Bradley Garmston if fit, Ben Nugent, Frank Musa, Naveed Nasseri, Elliot List and Connor Wilkinson. I think that would give us good attacking options and flexibility from the bench if we need them. And in terms of a prediction, keep saying it, if we play the right system, if we turn up and play like we have for the majority of Steve Lovell's tenure, then I think we'll win the game 2-1. If we're slightly off it, I think we might struggle. I'm going to go, heart says 2-1, my head says 1-0. I'm going to go Lee Martin scoring our goal in a score draw. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for all the support on the channel, sorry. Well over 750 subscribers now, well on our way to 750 Facebook members, which is really good. There's some great debate going on the page at the moment. A lot to do with do we turn up to games at the moment while we're not playing well, and interesting, keeps everyone interested, different opinions, that's the beauty of this game. But anyway, I'll wrap it on. Thanks for watching as always. We will see you Saturday for Match Day Live. I believe it is me and Stocky this week. And until next time, up the Gills.